Today is Wednesday, June the 3rd, and it is a Wednesday Wonderings edition of Gamecock Pod Live, coming up right now.
Today, the lights are bright.
Line drive right field, base hit! South Carolina wins the College World Series!
The pressure is real.
Shot clock at 10. Murray against Davis. Lobs down low for Sharp, and he has a shot rejected by Murray Boyle. He just blocked the shot of a 7'5" human. Are you kidding me?
And the stories are bigger than the scoreboard.
And South Carolina has won the national championship.
From the biggest plays.
Up in the pocket, gonna run inside the 20, 10. Lenore Sellers going left side, 5. Touchdown, Carolina. Touchdown. Touchdown, Lenore Sellers.
To the toughest calls.
In the pocket, rolling right side, throws underneath. Is the ball picked up?
Got it.
It is. The Gamecocks have got it on a turnover. They shut it down at Death Valley.
To the moments everybody will be talking about tomorrow morning.
Michigan at the 41. What a hit! Ball's free, on the ground. South Carolina deserves to have it, and they do.
This is the podcast that brings you inside the game. Now, here's your host, Keith Allsep, and this is Gamecock Pod Live.
All right, everybody, welcome into Gamecock Pod Live for Wednesday, June the 3rd, episode number 2019. And we've been reviewing kind of what happened during the school years for all of these podcasts since we've got past 2000 into the modern era, and in particular into the Steve Spurrier era. And so last night on the Garnet and Black Town Hall was episode 2018. Today is 2019. And so a couple notables: women's basketball in 2018. After winning the national championship, Dawn Staley lost Kayla Davis and Alicia Gray to the WNBA draft. And then Bianca Cuevas Moore was going to transfer to West Virginia, and then she didn't. And then she came back and she had an injury. I think maybe, she missed the season. South Carolina did, though, go 30-7. A'ja Wilson was the consensus National Player of the Year. She also got vertigo that year and missed some games. And the Gamecocks, I think they lost most of them. But South Carolina did win the SEC tournament and advanced all the way to the Elite Eight, where they had to play UConn. Just a few miles down the road from UConn's campus, and dropped that game, but it was still another 30-win season. A'ja Wilson, as I said, would go on to be the consensus National Player of the Year, first-team All-American, and would be the first pick in the WNBA draft. In 2018, Will Muschamp led the Gamecocks to, honestly, a disappointing 7-win season. That year, the Gamecocks would go 7-5 in the regular season. They should have been a lot better, though. They beat Coastal big to open that season, got hammered by Georgia in Columbia. There was a storm. That Marshall game got canceled. Carolina beat Vanderbilt, lost to Kentucky. Then they had the monsoon game, the Skarnecki game, and Carolina won it 37-35. They lost a very winnable game to Texas A&M. They just couldn't get a stop. Gamecocks did beat Tennessee 27-24. And then they went to Ole Miss, and Deebo Samuel ran a kickoff back, and South Carolina went into the fourth quarter, I think, down 10 and won the game. And their defense held Ole Miss to negative yardage in the fourth quarter. And then it looked like South Carolina really had it going. They went to Florida, to the Swamp. They led 31-14 with about 19 minutes to go in that game, and just could not get a stop and lost 35-31. They did beat Chattanooga. They went to Clemson, and that was kind of the shootout game. Clemson went up to a big lead. Carolina, I think, scored first. Deebo caught a long one. And Gamecocks end up losing 56-35, but Jake Bentley threw for over 500 yards. Carolina beat Akron, and it was in the rain. They struggled. They left some starters out there. Zach Bailey and a couple other guys got injured. Deebo decided not to play in the bowl game. Muschamp let him hang out with the team all week, and they got absolutely skunked by Bronco Minden. I think it's Bronco Mendenhall's Virginia team, 28-0. That's kind of the beginning of the end for Muschamp. In 2019, they would go 4-8. He kept his job because he managed to keep an unbelievable recruiting class together, one that would prove to be the really the foundation and the core of the Shane Beamer era, with so many guys like Jordan Burch, Tonka Hemingway, Boogie Huntley, Luke Doty, just a lot of guys that stuck it out. Gilbert Edmond, even though he left, he came back. Jaheim Bell was really good before he left for Florida State. Can't really blame him after 2 years of, shat happens. We know it did happen. Women's basketball in 2019 could not replace Asia Wilson. They brought in Taya Cooper. She caused internal strife within the program. Dawn Staley kicked her off after South Carolina went 24-10. They lost in the first round of the SEC tournament. That was Destiny Henderson's freshman season. And then they lost in the Sweet 16, getting blown out by Kim Mulkey and Baylor. And you know what? That's the last time South Carolina has not been to the Final Four. In 2020, they didn't have a tournament. South Carolina was 32-1 and the number one overall seed. They went undefeated through the SEC and tore through the SEC tournament like Sherman's march through Georgia. They were the number one overall seed, and then COVID canceled everything. All right, today's show is brought to you, as always, by the award-winning full-service catering company servicing the greater Charlotte area. I'm talking about Nana's Porch. Nana's Porch is your go-to for all your catering needs. Maybe you've got a breakfast meeting coming up. Maybe it's a men's group at church. Maybe it's at the office where you work. You're having a weekly or bi-weekly morning breakfast meeting. Nana's Porch can help you customize and cater a delicious breakfast menu. Bring the food hot and ready to serve. Unparalleled customer service and tremendous food. Maybe it's a corporate event, a wedding, a rehearsal dinner, a birthday, wedding anniversary, engagement, or graduation celebration, whatever your catering needs. Nana's Porch has got you covered. So go to the homepage, nanasporch.com. That's NANASPORCH.com. Get in touch with my good friend, Chris Payne. Tell him Keith Allsep at Gamecock Pod Live sent you. Hope you folks enjoy the new opening. Leave us a comment in the comments. Hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to the show. Join our growing Gamecock family. So the title of today's show is Wednesday Wonderings. And so I'm wondering what's taking so long. If Kevin Schnall is the guy, it's Wednesday afternoon. It's 3:13 Central Time, which means it's 4:13 Eastern Time. I'm monitoring, but I don't think it's getting done. And I said earlier in the week on Gamecock Pod Daily, which you can subscribe to by going to patreon.com, that's patreon.com, /Gamecock Pod, all in lowercase letters. One trip to Starbucks, that's the cost for a month. Honestly, just the Garnet and Black Town Halls on Tuesday night is worth way more than that. It's a great deal. You can sign up 7 days free for a VIP monthly subscription and tune in to the Garnet and Black Town Hall, or you can sign up and get 2 months free with an annual subscription. I said if it's not done with Kevin Schnall, if Kendall Rogers or John Whittle don't send out a tweet, or maybe it gets out through Pete Nakos or Pete Thamel or somebody like that, they tweet it out. I don't know if it's going to be Kevin Schnall. Maybe I've got multiple tweets to back this up. According to Dave Cloninger, the Post and Courier, from the university, from a source within the university athletics department, he was told today a hiring is not imminent and that South Carolina is still talking to multiple candidates in the baseball search. That tells me Steve Sabins is right there, West Virginia, although if you hire him, you're probably going to have to wait till they get finished playing in Omaha, because they were supposed to go to UCLA and play the number 1 seeded Bruins, but instead Cal Poly won that regional. Now Cal Poly's got to travel to Morgantown, where I think West Virginia will win that regional, and most certainly there will be house furniture, probably a sofa. There'll be sofas in many places of West Virginia that will be set on fire, and maybe even a meth lab will blow up. I don't know. It could be a law. I mean, they've got an easy path to Omaha. Then you've got the 15 seed Kansas, Dan Fitzgerald. They will host Oklahoma, who walked off Georgia Tech. Both of the top 2 national seeds are out, which means 15 and 16 are hosting regionals. It's kind of nuts. 7 of the top 16 seeds lost, including 1, 2, and 8. And I have to wonder, in Gainesville, does Florida really want to bring Kevin O'Sullivan back? I don't know. That's something I would look for. It's something to ponder. It's something to wonder about. I'm just wondering if maybe Josh Holliday is a candidate at South Carolina, or maybe there is a mystery candidate that nobody knows about. We know about Kevin Schnall. We know about Steve Sabins. We know about Dan Fitzgerald. We know that Josh Holliday has been mentioned. Then he was kind of put off to the side, like, no, they're moving on. It looks like it's going to be Kevin Schnall. But now, is it going to be Kevin Schnall? Or could it be one of these other guys? Or could it be a wild card candidate that is so far under the radar, you couldn't dig him up with a backhoe? I don't know. But if it is Kevin Schnall, here's something else to ponder. Schnall has rebuffed other offers. He turned down Tennessee last year after Tony Vitello left to go to San Francisco. Now, granted, that was much later in the process. It didn't happen. I mean, school had already started back. But if it is still Kevin Schnall, they are in the final, they're on the final leg of that relay where the lawyers and his representatives, his agent is making sure he gets everything he wants and everything he needs, every bit of operating budget, every bit of NIL and rev share money, every bit of money for the staff that he wants, which I have been told could include one high-profile SEC recruiting coordinator and whoever else he brings over from his staff at Coastal. I mean, I think it's a given the pitching coach is coming with him. So, you know, I just think that they are making sure he gets everything, recruiting budget, everything that he feels he needs. And there's probably some going back and forth over this. And maybe that is what is taking so long. Look, I mean, look, Kevin Schnall, he loves Coastal Carolina. He played there. He coached there for a long time. He went to Central Florida. He came back. Then he became the head coach. Took his team to the College World Series, National Championship Series. Yeah, they had a down year for them this year because they had some really tough injuries. But he is a big fish in a small pond. He's making $500,000 a year. He's got a lot of incentives in his contract. But make no mistake, Coastal cannot match what South Carolina can give him. And so maybe they're just ironing out the details. Or maybe Jeremiah Donati is negotiating with several candidates, and we may not know until the weekend. We may not know until next week. I don't know when we'll know. But if something doesn't get out tonight or tomorrow, I have to wonder if Kevin Schnall either just wants to stay at Coastal or if he is not Jeremiah Donati's top guy after all. I'm not saying that he is or is not. I'm just saying it makes me wonder. I still think the most likely scenario is Kevin Schnall, but maybe not. Maybe Jeremiah Donati has somebody else. I would really, if you are on X, I would have notifications from Kendall Rogers, Pete Nakos, and John Whittle. I'd have my phone going off every time they make a post. So we'll see. I'm also wondering, Jaden Bryant, the 4-star defensive end from Irmo. After Sterling Lucas left South Carolina for LSU, he committed to the Bayou Bengals, and Lane Kiffin, they may be changing their stripes to the Cheetahs. I don't know. A little tongue-in-cheek there. I'm wondering if him showing up yesterday at South Carolina's camp and then subsequently moving up his visit to South Carolina from June 12th to this weekend, is it simply because Texas A&M got Frederick Ards and one of their top other guys at the edge position, and they called him and told him they're not bringing him in because they're only taking 2, or maybe they've got their eye on somebody else out in Texas? Or could that visit to camp and the subsequent rescheduling be signs of hope for Coach Deion Barnes, who's worked tirelessly to build a relationship with Jaden Bryant, for Clayton White, for Shane Beamer, that he's going ahead and coming in this weekend, and South Carolina maybe has the chance to flip him from LSU this weekend? We'll see. I'm also wondering who the first commitment for the Summer of Shane version 2026 will be. Could it be Jaden Bryant, 6'3.5", 245 from Irmo? Could it be 4-star defensive tackle Nate Comba, 6'4", 300 from Charlotte Corvian Community High School, a guy that Travian Robertson has built a lead with, and that the NC State 24/7 Sports website said that South Carolina is clearly the leader? Could South Carolina shut him down this weekend and keep him from going to Georgia? I know that 4-star defensive tackle commitment John Archer will be on campus this weekend. He's a D-line having 4-star commitment at defensive tackle. Can Travian Robertson and the Gamecocks close on Nate Comba? Could North Oconee High School 6'3.5", 185-pound borderline 4-star defensive back Kelvin Millington, could he jump in the boat for the Gamecocks this weekend? Or could it be Gamecock legacy, the son of former Gamecock basketball player David Ross, Hammond, 6'3", 215, linebacker Jackson Ross? South Carolina is hosting a total of 9 official visitors this weekend. 5 are already committed. And so these are the 4 guys that we know that are coming in are uncommitted. So could it be one or more of them that could technically kick off the Summer of Shane? It's Wednesday afternoon, and I'm wondering. I'm also wondering, is Lamont Paris dead man walking, or does he actually have a chance to make it past this year and build something sustainable at South Carolina? I'm not sure what the answer was. If somebody made me place a bet today, I would bet he's dead man walking. But I will say there's still one more addition to the roster to come, but the main parts are all in. And so if you look at the two deep, you've got a very experienced guy, Corey Mincy, from George Mason, 6'2", 175 at point guard. And then you've got the cousin of Meechie Johnson, Marcus Johnson, who was the Gatorade Circle of Champions, Ohio Player of the Year, I think, for 2 years straight. He's a top 50 four-star left-handed point guard. He's 6'2", 180 from Garfield Heights, Ohio. Davian Hanna, the 6'6", 190-pound redshirt freshman that was a high four-star that redshirted last year at Alabama. He can also handle the ball, but he's probably better off the ball. But all of those guys can handle the ball. But for the sake of building a depth chart, Mincy and Johnson at point guard. At two guard, Shane Blakeney, who they feel like can be a lockdown defender and a solid offensive player, 6'5", 200 from Drexel. He's a native of Rock Hill. And Camden Heide, the 6'7", 215 sharpshooter from Texas. I've got those guys at the two guard. And then Davian Hanna, I've got him starting 6'6", 190. He's a redshirt freshman, transfer from Alabama, and backing him up, Grant Polk, the 6'6", 200-pound sharpshooter from Washington, D.C. In the front court, I've got the most recent addition, Juan Francisco Fernandez, 6'11", 225, a native of Argentina. He will be a 24-year-old freshman. He's never played college basketball. He's been playing professional leagues in Spain. He has been one of the main contributors to the Argentinian national team. He's an older guy, a more mature guy, a guy that can stretch the floor, that's athletic, that can play facing the basket or play with his back to the basket. I've got Hayden Simeon backing him up, 6'7", 230, sophomore from Greenville High. I'm very hopeful that Bob Donwald Jr., Lamont Paris, and Steve Smith can really work on his offensive game. Solid defender, rebounder, protects the rim even though he's undersized, but he's really got to grow offensively to be a factor. At center, you've got sophomore and Wisconsin transfer Alexis Biliauskas, 6'10", 235, a native of Lithuania, a guy who played great the second half of the season, can shoot the three, can play with his back to the basket, very skilled. And then I've got Jacob Nisus, the 6'10", 240-pound transfer from Duquesne. Honestly, I could see him being the primary backup to both post players when South Carolina wants to play double big. there is one additional big, a European big, that has yet to announce, but could announce in the next week or so. More of a depth piece. I don't really know how much of a factor he will be in his first year. So I wonder if this group of players can somehow win 8, 9 games in the SEC, maybe win 1 or 2 in the tournament. And if you do that, maybe you can beat Clemson, go, I don't know, 19-13. But if you win enough SEC games, that should get you in, especially now it's 76 teams. I do think Lamont Paris has his best staff. I just think he waited too long keeping all of those guys from UT Chattanooga, including Tanner Bronson, who he just won't get rid of. So I'm also wondering, why? I mean, not in a bad way. I'm just wondering why Kelsey Andrews made the Team USA 18 and under team, one of 12 players announced. Certainly this is great news for the Gamecocks, a 6'4" plus post player who played at IMG, helped lead them the national championship her junior year, had a meniscus injury, missed a good portion of her senior year, but is healthy. How she made it, and the big O, Oliviyah Edwards, didn't make it. I mean, look, we all know it's kind of political in some ways. Team USA, Oliviyah Edwards has never been selected to a Team USA team. Kelsey Andrews played with Jerzy Robinson in the 16 and 17 and under tournaments, I think. At least one of those they played together. And so this is her third time. So congratulations, Kelsey. Thank goodness you're healthy. I was just wondering if you were 100% and if she would make the team. And I certainly have been wondering why Oliviyah Edwards, with all that talent and all that athleticism, didn't make it. It's only a week. They play through the 15th of June, then they can come to campus. But, you know, maybe this is better that Dawn and, you know, the rest of the coaching staff, Lisa Boyer, who works with the forwards and the bigs, they go ahead and get her on campus with Molly Benetti and get her in that weight room and get her working. And so I'm also wondering, how is Dawn Staley going to manage a roster of 15 players that is arguably the deepest and most talented roster she's had at South Carolina? I'm wondering, is Maddie McDaniel going to be the point guard? I think she will be. I think Jordan Lee will probably be in the starting lineup. I think she can be that defensive stopper and guard the top defender on the opposing team. And I think Tessa Johnson, going into her senior year, will be a captain and a starter. But then you still got Agot Makeer, who arguably was South Carolina's best player in the NCAA tournament, 6'1", capable of dunking, great lockdown defender, versatile playmaker who can be a spark off the bench. I'm wondering if she won't come off the bench with Jerzy Robinson as the point guard of that second unit. She's a 6'2" freshman. Then who plays on the wing? Is it Isla McDowell, the 6'2" sophomore, or is it Justine Lubins, the 6'1" crafty left-handed player from France who is used to playing off the ball? What about Kaylee Wynn, who's Jerzy Robinson's best friend? 6'2" forward from Mater Dei High School. Is she going to be healthy? Is she going to redshirt? Both her parents are college basketball coaches, have been. Her mom now's the high school coach at Mater Dei. Jerzy Robinson broke Juju Watkins' scoring records at Sierra Canyon. What a wealth of riches in the backcourt. But if you think it's really good there in the front court, Chloe Kitts returns, a 6'2" redshirt senior, an all-SEC performer. Ashlyn Watkins, 6'3" redshirt senior, the only underclassman in the history of the NCAA to have over 20 rebounds in a Final Four game. She's a dunker. She's dunked in a collegiate game in each of her first 3 seasons at South Carolina, including at Clemson and at TCU over a 6'7" player. 6'6" Adele Tack. I'm wondering, is she going to be healthy? She has such a high basketball IQ. She is very vocal on defense. And when she's played against other bigs like Kyla Oldacre from Texas, she's held her own. I'm wondering what her role could be, or if she needs to redshirt to get healthy. I don't know. Joyce Edwards, who's with the Team USA 3-on-3 team, who was spotted earlier this week dunking the basketball. Joyce needs to continue to grow as a player. She's got to be more consistent, more physical, more determined. You can't wait until it's the Elite Eight or the Final Four. She's got to be that girl. She's got to have that dog in her, because I can promise you, Chloe and Ashlyn and the Big O, they got that dog in them. You got 6'7" Ali Tournebize. I'm just wondering what she's going to be like after a summer with Molly Benetti. What's she going to be like after going through a full summer workouts, a full training camp with the team before Dawn takes her and Justine Lubins home to Paris for the season opener. When they don those A2s and those U.S. women's basketball uniforms with the same pattern as the Olympic team, when they come out in Paris for that season opener, what the ceiling for Ali Tournebize is so high. And then what about Kelsey Andrews, 6'4 plus? She's made the 18 and under USA basketball FIBA team for the AmeriCup. And the Big O, Oliviyah Edwards, who may have a higher ceiling than anybody, maybe even higher than Ali Tournebize, maybe not. To me, along with Jerzy Robinson, these are, and Gotti, these are the players with the highest ceilings. I'm just wondering, how high does their ceiling go this year, and how far does South Carolina go? Because this year, honestly, as long as they stay healthy, anything but a national championship is going to be a disappointment. All right, so we are keeping track of the baseball search. As I mentioned, we don't know when it's going to happen, if it's going to happen, if it could be someone else that we know about or someone that we don't know about. I'm just plucking this name out of thin air here. What about Wes Johnson at Georgia? Is he tired of having 1,500 fans at their games, not having a big stadium, not having a great facility? I mean, they're the number 3 seed. I think they're the favorite now to win the College World Series. You're going to have to wait on all these guys unless you're hiring somebody who's not coaching, like Kevin Schnall, like Wes Johnson, or I'm sorry, Josh Holliday is who I meant to say at Oklahoma State. I don't know that it's going to be him. It may be Kevin Schnall. It may happen tomorrow. But if something doesn't happen tomorrow and nothing leaks out of a Friday announcement, I have to think it is not going to be Kevin Schnall. We will see. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Until next week, enjoy this video on the way out. This has been Gamecock Pod Live, episode number 2019. I am out of here.